And we dusted off another week, so week 16 is done as well. And oh my god, this was such a weird week. Like, for real. Honestly, there were so many ups and downs emotionally but for no apparent reason. And it was such... that's best word I can use. It was a weird week. Now, we get doing our conditioning exercises. We're working on a CrossFit. We actually did a lot of either squat work, snatches, and high cardio exercises for this week. So on the Tuesday, we did a 400-meter run, and then we came in and did some overhand squats. And then on the Thursday, we did 10 bar over burpees, and then going into some power snatches. So yeah, it was fun for sure. But I was able to push myself in certain points, but certain points, like, my body was just acting so weird. Like, I'll give you an example. So on the Tuesday, as we were doing our overhand squats, we did 5 rounds altogether. And especially on the last couple of rounds, I was holding the bar up above my head, and I could feel my arms going numb. And it was like this, like, numbness from my neck, shoulder into my arm, but also the other arm as well, a little bit, but not as much as the right in that case. But the day before, while we were doing our sparring, basic sparring on Monday, as we were going through it, I had this sudden kind of pain in my shoulders, and like, it first happened with one, then it happened with the other one. And for the whole week, my shoulders just been feeling so tight. And on the Thursday, going back there after our CrossFit workout, I remember I went into work, I sat down in front of my desk, like, with eyes, like, forcing them to stay open because I was so extremely fatigued for no apparent reason. Like, nothing, I didn't really do anything more. Like, I slept my usual amount, maybe a little bit more this week than previously. But it was so exhausting in certain parts of the day, and it was just up and down and up and down. And I felt like I couldn't control it, I couldn't shift it. I usually, if I'm feeling a little bit off, I can do a couple things and have some mental strategies, or I'm very intuitive in a way. I can realize, okay, is this an actual focus issue, a mental switch I can do, or do I just need to rest? And I can usually figure it out. But this time it was just like, I'm not in control here. Like, I was absolutely in no control whatsoever of this kind of wave. And the funny thing is, it wasn't just me. One of my friends here in Brisbane said he was tired for the whole week. One of my friends in Switzerland, she said that she's been having such an overwhelmingly pressure week during the same time as I was having, and I had some friends the same funny stuff happen in the US, but all other parts of Australia, it was like a lot of people I talked to were just kind of felt off. The counter felt weird is the best way I can describe it. And like, ultimately, what I can say is that massive points for me, brownie points for me, is the fact that I still showed up. Like, even though when I felt fatigued, I still showed up. When I felt like I didn't want to wake up, I still was there. When there was a couple of days here in Brisbane, because it's winter time right now, it was super cold. Okay, now for us Brisbanians, cold is like going under 10 degrees Celsius. I think the one day was like under 5 degrees Celsius. For us, that's freezing. I know there's people in Canada, US, and Europe that's like, you guys are laughing. You guys are out sunbaking at that time. But for us, that is pretty freaking freezing. But when even that happened, I still showed up. So it's a perfect reminder of the fact that you can't run on your circumstances, you can't run on motivation, you need to run on habit, as I mentioned in previous videos as well. But ultimately, I think one of the biggest lessons for this one is that you are not in control 100% of the time. You can't muscle and think your way through everything that comes your way. Like, sometimes the wave of life is just gonna chuck you down in that little alley before you're able to ride the wave up again. And then guess what? it's gonna go down and then up again and down and up again. It's not the blowing of the wind, it's the set of the sail. It's like something like this, like from my limited understanding of the people I talked to, it was this kind of weird energy, is the best way I can describe it, was quite universal, like internationally. But it's not the deciding factor who gets forward, who wins and who doesn't, and who's able to win a Wimp to Warrior, who doesn't, who's able to actually crush their goals, crush their dreams, or be able to do whatever they want, or just actually go back into mediocrity or worse. Like, that's not the deciding factor. Ultimately, what the deciding factor here is riding the wave with consistent habits, and I can definitely give myself credit that I was able to do that. And now that kind of sounds, this might sound funny to you, but for the whole week, I was like, what's wrong? Like, how can I fix this? What else can I do? What more can I do? Like I remember when we were doing the sparring on Tuesday, we were doing stuff, and I actually did pretty well. But in my head, like, it can't be this easy. I need to do something else. I need to kind of find something like where's my limitations? Where's the I need to work at? And it shows the fact that, like, sometimes we can be a control freak. Go figure. Sometimes we are, and that's okay. But realizing the fact that you can't control everything. Ultimately, there is a very limited things in life that you can control, and those are your perceptions, your decisions, and your actions. Like, that's it, pretty much. Like, how you look at the world, you can control. Like, what you decide that actually means to you, you can control, and what you do about that is definitely something within your control. Like, you can choose your attitude, you can choose your actions. What other people would do, or what Mother Nature would do, or the universe, or another person is going to do or not do, is completely not in your control, and that's okay. And although I have heard this lesson many times, it's like, you get to either relearn it or get to learn it at a deeper or a different level, which is always fascinating. So yeah, like, loving the sparring that we're doing as we're going through it, like the wrestling that we're doing, like I personally love it and enjoy it. And ultimately, what it comes down to is that as you're going through, ultimately winning and losing is just something that happens at the end. The ultimate victory is stepping over the fear of fighting, is actually being in the cage. It's like, one of my friends, I was talking to him the last few weeks, and he said that, honestly, I'm going in to do my best, but when I'm in the cage, I won. And that's such a beautiful, like, mentality to have, because yes, like, you are stepping into something that most people would never even dare to dream to do. You are doing something, you are literally facing another human being that's gonna go full out attack you. And as brutal that sounds, it also is very inspiring on the fact that it shows you that you are working on your courage. You are working on your improvement as a human being, because again, ultimately your perceptions, decisions, and your actions are the only things are you able to do in life. And sometimes your perceptions need to be changed over 20 weeks of training in MMA to view the world a little bit differently, but more importantly, view yourself differently to where you were when you actually started your own journey. So even though it was quite an off week, and I was super tired certain days, and it was super cold on the other days, it's been very fulfilling for the fact that now, looking back at it, I could say, yeah, but I stuck to my habits. I did that. Maybe I wasn't perfect, I wasn't able to give 100% every single time, but you can't always give 100% all the time. Like, if you do, you will burn out, as I did, and hence I had my 14-hour slumber a couple weeks ago. But it's more about just doing your best, showing up. And that's pretty much it. Like, there's not much you can do. Again, not much you can control. So remember, even if life has you on the ground, and even if life throws you up and down and into this weird positions or weird energies, or you suddenly feel fatigued for no apparent reason, or you have to do something that most people will never actually get to do, or never want to do, or never be willing to have the courage to do half of what you're doing. That's still okay. Just do your best, ride the wave, and just show up, run on habit. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure you like and also comment down below what you got out of it. Would love to actually hear that. Also, subscribe to the channel. It helps out a lot, and definitely is, I'm very grateful for it. So every person has already subscribed and watching week after week, I'm very, very grateful for you. It's definitely been an amazing journey, and I'm glad that you guys are coming along. So here's for the last few weeks, and enjoy your week, and I'll see you in the next video.